unveiling the most ferocious Native American tribes in history. While many Native American tribes were powerful in their own right, 3 stood out for their unmatched ferocity. These tribes weren't just formidable, they were absolutely terrifying, cutting through any opposition in ways that would send chills down your spine.
In this video, we'll reveal 3 of the deadliest Native American tribes you may have never heard of. Before we dive into this chilling history, be sure to like and subscribe for more insightful content.
The Comanches. Just hearing the name of this tribe was enough to instill fear, even among other native tribes. Known as the Lords of the Plains, their name comes from the Ute word Comanche, meaning someone who always wants to fight, or simply enemy. When European settlers, especially the Spanish, introduced horses to North America in the 16th century, these animals gradually spread among the indigenous tribes. The Comanche traded with neighboring tribes, such as the Pueblo, who had Spanish influence, or other plains tribes that already possessed horses. Through these trade networks, the Comanche acquired horses by exchanging buffalo hides, captives, or other resources. With horses, they quickly became expert riders, expanding their territory far beyond their original Shoshone homeland. The buffalo-rich plains of eastern Colorado and western Kansas drew the Comanche in. They became exceptional equestrians, using horses for hunting, trade, and warfare. Horses not only provided transportation, but also symbolized status and power within Comanche society. The Comanche were unmatched in the art of horseback riding. Children learned to ride from an early age, and both men and women developed remarkable riding skills. The Comanche had a unique talent for capturing and training wild horses. Once a wild horse was spotted, they would lasso its neck, choke it until it lost consciousness, and then revive it by gently blowing into its nostrils. They would then clean the horse, remove the wild hair around its eyes, and fit it with a headstall for control. The wild horse was paired with a calm mare, forming a bond and familiarizing it with human presence. After a few days, the horse would be released, but would stay close to the mare. When it came time to ride, the trainer would lead the horse into deep water or a sandy creek bed, which helped reduce resistance and cushioned any falls if the horse bucked. William Blakemore, an Englishman who lived with the tribe for 8 years, said, "On foot, they are slow and clumsy, but on horseback, they are graceful. They are the most skilled and daring riders in the world." In battle, the Comanche were terrifying. They descended upon their enemies with deafening war cries, concealing their entire bodies behind their horses, leaving only one foot visible, while firing bullets or arrows with deadly precision over and under their horses' necks. Each Comanche had a favorite war horse, which they rode only in battle. Even the women were fearless riders, lassoing antelope and hunting buffalo. The Comanche quickly grew in power. Known for their relentless and brutal warfare, they were fiercely determined and extremely violent toward their enemies. After Spain acquired Louisiana from France, Spanish soldiers reported that the Comanche were unmatched in horsemanship and fearless in battle. The Comanche did not make peace easily. They were bold and tenacious, killing many European settlers and making it nearly impossible for the French, Spanish, and Americans to take their land. The Comanche were so fierce that they single-handedly halted Spanish expansion for nearly 50 years. U.S. General James Wilkinson described the Comanche as the most formidable indigenous group on the continent. Initially labeled as horse thieves, the Comanche earned a fearsome reputation through their relentless raids, so intense that Spanish and Mexican settlers in the north referred to them as the Comanche Moon.
In these brutal nighttime raids, hundreds of Comanche horsemen stormed Mexican settlements, massacring men, abducting women, and stealing horses. When European settlers crossed into their territory, the Comanche would attack, steal their horses, and later sell them to the Spanish-Mexican Empire or to American traders. Despite being a relatively small tribe, around 40,000 people, each Comanche typically owned 2 to 3 horses as part of their culture. Young warriors had to prove their status through frequent raids, demonstrating their ability to kill and steal. This was the only way to gain prestige, wealth, and respect within their families and bands.
Comanche women were known for their skilled and merciless methods of torturing captives. Once at the mercy of a Comanche woman, enemies prayed for death. S.C. Gwynn, author of Empire of the Summer Moon, wrote that no other tribe in the history of Spanish, French, Mexican, Texan, or American presence in the region inflicted such widespread devastation and death. There isn't even a close second, he stated. The Comanche were notorious for torturing captives, including American and Mexican soldiers. Some were roasted alive over open fires, others were castrated and scalped while still conscious. One particularly horrifying method involved burying captives up to their chins, slicing off their eyelids, and exposing their eyes to the blazing sun until they died of starvation. Historical accounts also describe male captives being staked naked over red ant mounds, often after their genitals were cut off and shoved into their mouths, with their lips sewn shut. In another cruel tactic, captives were sewn into raw hide and left in the sun. As the hide dried and shrank, it slowly suffocated the prisoner. According to T.R. Fehrenbach, a Spanish account reveals that the Comanche tortured Tonkawa captives by burning their hands and feet until the nerves were destroyed, amputating those limbs, and then repeating the burning on the fresh wounds. Tonkawa captives were also scalped alive and had their tongues torn out to silence their screams. Before we reveal the next deadliest tribe, give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. The Iroquois Confederation. The Iroquois Confederacy, also known as the Haudenosaunee or the Six Nations, is another powerful example of indigenous political and social organization in North America. The roots of this formidable alliance go back to the collaboration of distinct tribes such as the Mohawk, Oneida, Onondaga, Cayuga, and Seneca. The Mohawk, located in the east, were known for their strategic position and interactions with early European settlers. The Oneida, rooted in the Great Lakes region, and the Onondaga, based in central New York, added to the diversity of the Confederacy. The Cayuga and Seneca, residing to the west and south respectively, further strengthened this alliance with their unique contributions. Interestingly, the name Iroquois did not originate from the Confederacy itself, but was given by the Algonquin, well-known enemies of the Haudenosaunee. They often referred to them as Iroquois, a word meaning rattlesnake. Why such a name? Simply because the Iroquois were masters of approaching their enemies silently and delivering not only the fastest, but also the deadliest strikes, often before their enemies could even react. Many capable warriors had already fallen before realizing what had hit them. The Iroquois were known for their strong and assertive nature, often expanding their territory by attacking neighboring tribes. They easily instilled fear in the hearts of many, defeating numerous other Native American groups. Among those most heavily impacted by their raids were the Huron, Erie, and Susquehannock. From a young age, Iroquois youth underwent military training, honing their skills with bows, arrows, spears, and war clubs. During adolescence, they joined raids against rival Native American groups and occasionally white settlers. This early exposure to warfare shaped them into fierce warriors who fought without hesitation, driven solely by the desire for victory. Demonstrating military prowess not only earned individual respect, but also paved the way to becoming a war chief. A particularly grim aspect of Iroquois warfare was their treatment of prisoners. Captives were often subjected to the ordeal of running the gauntlet, a feared ritual in which they had to run between two lines of Iroquois warriors armed with spiked sticks and branches, enduring physical punishment. This practice highlighted the intensity of intertribal conflicts and the strict military culture within Iroquois society. The Beaver Wars, which extended throughout the 17th century, were a brutal period for the Iroquois Confederacy as they engaged in conflicts aimed at expanding their territory. One of their notable conquests was the subjugation of the Susquehannock in what is now Pennsylvania. Additionally, the Iroquois significantly weakened the Huron people around the Great Lakes, further consolidating their influence in the region. By the early 1700s, at the height of their power, the Iroquois controlled vast territories stretching from the western lands to the northern reaches of Michigan and southward to the hills of Tennessee. What set the Iroquois Confederacy apart was their extraordinary ability to maintain unity among the different nations within their alliance. This unity was especially evident during the French and Indian War, when all the Iroquois nations aligned with the British. As the biblical verse says, "Though one may be overpowered, two can defend themselves. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken." Indeed, unity builds a formidable nation. The Apaches. The Apache people are part of the southern branch of the Athabascan group. Languages from this group are spoken by a large family of peoples across Alaska, Western Canada, and the American Southwest. Different branches of the Apache tribes lived across a vast region stretching from the Arkansas River to northern Mexico and from central Texas to central Arizona. The Apache not only survived but thrived while surrounded by powerful empires, successfully navigating the challenges posed by Spanish, Comanche, Ute, and American influences. Living in rugged terrain, the Apache became masters of mobile guerrilla warfare, armed with traditional bows and more modern rifles introduced by European powers. Apache warriors were said to be able to fire multiple arrows in a single charge while skillfully riding a horse. Their survival strategies were deeply rooted in their exceptional skills in stealth and surprise, forming the foundation of their military prowess. They were, quite simply, masters of hide and seek. This skill allowed them to carry out sudden and unexpected attacks against their enemies, catching them off guard and demoralizing them. Apache warriors, masters of surprise assaults, would swiftly emerge from hiding, launch precise strikes, and retreat just as quickly into the terrain they knew so well. A remarkable aspect of Apache warfare was their raiding ability. They demonstrated an unmatched capacity to cover vast distances rapidly, whether on foot or horseback. This mobility, combined with their strategic expertise, allowed them to strike with precision and withdraw before their enemies could recover from the shock. The Apache seamlessly integrated Spanish horses and steel weapons into their war tactics, showcasing their adaptability. They quickly learned to wield spears and knives with impressive speed, further enhancing their effectiveness in battle. General Crook's description of the Apache as the tigers of the human race aptly captured the formidable nature of these warriors. Their endurance and physical prowess were such that they could outrun cavalry on foot, displaying an exceptional level of agility and stamina in battle. In combat, the Apache demonstrated remarkable skill with the bow and arrow, reportedly releasing 7 arrows into the air before the first even touched the ground, a testament to their rapid and precise marksmanship. When it came to torturing captives, they did so without a shred of remorse. Enemies were flayed and burned alive, and the children of their foes met a grim fate. Their heads were smashed against walls, adding to the tribe's fearsome cruelty. They held in high esteem anyone who could invent a new method of torturing captives. To sum it all up, these 3 tribes will forever stand out as those who effortlessly struck fear into the hearts of all their enemies. Share your thoughts with us in the comments below, and if you haven't already, give us a thumbs up. Stay up to date with our latest content by clicking the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.